Hi friends, I am Dr. Praveen and with me is Dr. Gaurav Sharma. Dr. Gaurav Sharma is from MAMC and he has achieved rank 165 in the NEET 2019. So very congratulations Gaurav.
Thank you, sir.
Um, so Gaurav is an intern, he is a fresher right now and I will really congratulate him on his marvelous performance in this year. Gaurav, I have a few questions to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Gaurav, what course did you join in our Bhartiya Institute?
Sir, I joined a TNT session last year in the 2018 and followed it religiously, whatever I could in my internship schedule. And I'm glad I could make it to the rank currently. And I hope if I would have attended more TNDs, so they might have added to the
So probably
rank.
Gaurav has missed on the TND what he's just referring to. Gaurav, so when did you actually start your PG preparation?
So I started in the pre-final year, where I joined a foundation course and made notes. And then notes are they were the foundation courses, and the notes made there, I used to revise them and add from the textbook.
Okay.
Whatever I could from during the pre-final, because pre-final year is very light comparatively in the whole 5.5 years duration.
So what subject did you cover in the pre-final year, Gaurav?
So pre-final year, there was ANT, Optha and PSM. So I knew I had to already read them. So I did not stress much upon that.
Okay.
And even Optha was a weak subject for me. So I could do whatever justice to that. But I more focused on the final year subjects and tried to recollect the pathology and pharma and the physiology, whatever possible. Because it was not possible to read all of the Robbins. But I tried to see the images of the Robbins, as I heard the image-based pattern during my pre-final year.
Has
so
changed a lot. Okay.
So I was aware of that pattern. So I used to see the images regularly of the Robbins.
So in pre-final you did INT PSM and you did a second year course.
Yes, the second year course, whatever relatable to the medicine.
Medicine part. Okay.
In the foundation course, we were already with the medicine, surgery, peds, and OBG notes. So meets and physiology, medicine and physiology could be related. So I tried to cover whatever possible for physiology.
This is a good approach. I believe that many of the students actually what they do is they start working, say they read breast and they read the anatomy of breast, they read the physiology of breast, then they read the pathology of breast, and then they come to the surgery of breast. Yes. So was the approach also like that?
In few of the topics, not in ideally, I could not do for all of the topics.
Yes,
but like whatever I felt ki this is most asked question or also important clinically or practically, or we see the ward cases. So and so that we are aware of the previous thing also, if this is being asked in the ward rounds or anything else.
Okay. And what did you do in the final years?
So final year I kept a simple strategy to just revise the notes of the final year subjects.
Okay.
And I read Harrison only once of the topics which I felt like CVS and respi and renal, and added to the medicine notes in the pre-final year. So I just revised that only and didn't go for any heroic standard books, okay, but they had to be referred for the some topics. And yes, but I kept Robbins images throughout final year, and you didn't get much time during final year because there are many subjects to be covered. And also in pre-final year, the short subjects were also, I kept a look on that key. Skin, anesthesia and psyche, but psychiatry was also, I had to go back for the psychiatry in the final year.
Okay.
And so I just focused more on the profs during the final year, and I just read my notes which I made during the foundation course. And I tried for the TND session at Bhartiya Institute during the final year, but Dr. Bhatia sir advised that it's not a right time to join the TND. I even attended one TND, psychiatry TND, and then I wanted to just give feedback to sir about the TND. So I told that it was good, and I think I learned a lot. But he was saying that you will feel that you are learning a lot, but actually you're harming to your basics by attending TND too early, without revising your final year subjects beforehand.
So basically, Dr. Gaurav, probably what you want to say is you first fill up your gaps by reading the entire textbook, and you top it up by doing a TND.
Yes, sir. Whatever textbook I could read. I would not say I did any standard book cover to cover,
Mhm.
but I did most of it, whatever possible. And it is not necessary that you have to go cover to cover every book. Like
Okay.
you need to cover Harrison cover to cover. It's not possible in that.
So smart reading is more
Small-
important rather
yes,
than
sir.
this elaborate reading.
Yes, sir. If you read only few topics more number of times, that
Mhm.
is good. My one senior, Dr. Phul sir, he had told me one strategy to revise. He said that whatever you read, try to cover that thing again in 1/4 of the time. If you're giving a 1 hour to a topic, then again when you revise it. So do it in 15 minutes,
Okay.
not more than that. So if you're revising more, then you will retain more.
So probably the first reading is most important at that time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now, Gaurav, at internship, okay, let's also finish this one. What I understood from you is that you covered your INT PSM and the final year subjects in the pre-final year.
Yes, sir.
In the
On
final year, you
basic
just covered the
courses.
final year subjects again.
Yes, sir. On the
Okay.
prof basic.
On the
only,
prof
only
basics.
prof basis, whatever the subjects are to be looked upon.
Okay.
Only the prof basic, nothing second year, first year, or anything.
And now I understand that internship in MAMC is not an easy part. It's a very tough job that we actually got to know.
Yes, sir.
So, how did you plan your subject during the internship time?
So we were aware in final year also that heard of the interviews were
Okay.
taken by many of the seniors. So they were said they had already made us aware about the internship schedule at the MAMC.
Mhm.
So we were also apprehensive about that. So the day the internship roster came, so had to strategize about how to read about it. So my first posting was started with the ENT and Opthal posting. So I know that I could grasp some time from it. So I tried to just gain momentum and steadily increase it. But then came medicine. So it takes time to settle down during the
Mhm.
medicine posting. You don't get time. Sometimes you get just 1 hour a day to read, or maybe you're not getting anything to read. But I tried to solve MCQs in the DBMCI app,
Mhm.
the test series. Or if I could not go to TND, I would solve the question of the TND on the app itself,
Okay.
and just try to look through the solutions. But during the medicine posting, I knew I will be there with the lag that
Okay.
I will have to cover in the further postings.
Okay.
So I also tried during my medicine posting, the best I can do is try to focus on the medicine topics which are more there, so that I can ask my seniors in my respective posting about the topics, so that I can be aware of the things being asked about it.
Okay.
So, and the best thing during the posting, in a hectic posting, is to get a phone there, and you can have the screenshots of the MCQs that you solved,
Okay.
just to revise or just to solve new questions, and I could do that only. After that, the best time came when the PSM posting started. So you have the leisure of time, so you can channelize your time and don't waste it, because PSM posting you'll get only 2 months in that, and those 2 months are to just cover the lags, and you don't have to waste time. You will see many people, they will waste the time. You will also be persuaded to do that by just the environment surrounding
Okay.
you, like in rural posting. But don't do that. Just focus on the studies. And I would just say whether it is any of the posting, just keep reading consistently, whatever you can read. Whatever, if you're getting 30 minutes, to just read that. Whatever you read in the internship, now it gets consolidated, because you read 4.5 years back.
Okay.
So you already know the things, but you have to just consolidate and be selective. Like I used to see Dr. Praveen sir's interviews when he gave in the Aim for Aims PG group, sir.
Mhm.
So I had noted the topics that you told to focus upon. So I know these topics are very high yielding. So and also the patterns are going much more on the high yield topics. They are being asked again and again.
Again and again.
And even in Aims, I realized I didn't get a good rank, but when I analyzed it, so it was the repeated topics are very much asked. The same question is not asked,
Mhm.
and this thing is known by everyone, but it has to be analyzed and worked upon at, and then just read, focus, and all those idealistic things are there, but practically you have to just read and
So,
nothing else.
Gaurav, what I get from you is like you have some important topics that everyone wants to read.
Yes, sir.
Now, all those important topics will be in the notes.
Yes, sir.
So, how do you concise your notes? Suppose you have read your notes, say once or twice. Now, you get a new question, okay? And that question cannot be answered from the notes. It might happen.
Yes, sir.
So, what do you do from the new questions into the notes? Do you add them or you just do the reverse? What do you do?
So when I used to do a test as a stretch at my place,
Mhm.
so I used to keep a blank sheet with me,
Okay.
and I used to mark the answer. Some were fatte, but some were educated guesses, and some were this a direct answer,
Okay.
and some were which I cannot answer.
Mhm.
So I knew which were fatte have to be written on that sheet. That I might have used a funda, but it
Mhm.
might not be correct,
Okay.
or it might get correct. So I would have to look back at that topic again,
Okay.
and so I had kept a sheet for that every test. Like I will solve a GT with a sheet.
Okay.
I'll just keep that sheet for my revision. That I have to just look at that topic, or I'll add some point if I'm lacking on that sheet only. So I'll just then go through that sheet so that I will have my GT revised or
Okay.
subject test revised again. And the question that you are getting correct, anyway you will get it correct again and again. So there's
Okay.
no
Point of reading that again.
again and again. But whatever you're getting wrong or
Mhm.
whatever you're getting right by tukka
Mhm.
have to be just read again, at least once.
So you mark those questions in the white sheet you are saying,
Yes, sir.
or do you add that in the notes?
So I did in the white sheet and
Okay.
just kept in the notebook
You kept
itself.
it carefully.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's a good point. So no.
So already the notes were very
Very
consistent. So I don't
consistent,
know
okay.
I want to then they would not have been readable.
Okay.
I also tried to paste the things. I could do that in the pathology, whatever
Mhm,
updates from your
mhm.
Facebook groups
Okay.
I could get.
You
to-
could write that in the page and you could stick in the notes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Very few.
Few, very
It
few.
was very tedious task to
Uh-huh,
join the pages and all.
I understand that, yes, but
So-
but it's very important point that you actually rely on the notes.
Yes, sir.
You know, Gaurav, many students do ask us, sir, what we get to know from our seniors and our friends is notes are not sufficient. So what is
Yes, sir.
your say on the notes?
So notes, they will get you at least 60 to 70% of the paper. They will get it.
Okay, so friends, I think this line is summing up everything. If you get 70% of the notes, I think you can just add that information to top up by the new questions.
Yes, sir. And this is changing. Every year you give the exam, the
Mhm.
things change, the guidelines change, and Harrison's edition changes. So the drastic changes, na. So the guidelines will be changing again and again. And then there are some questions that are not to be attempted upon. They are like nobody knows the answer. So you can leave them, or just if you're getting a fancy answer, you can try your luck, but try to keep the attempt high. And even in the GTs, try to give like you're giving a NEET exam. So you are just strategizing. First, you will attempt all the questions that you know well. Then you will try where you know that your educated guess is good, and then you will attempt those questions where you think that you might get wrong. You get a feeling that you are answering the wrong answer,
Okay.
but just answer it. You will recall, because when you're making a mistake in that, and there's no point of leaving question during practice questions and even in the
Exactly.
real exam.
So I believe really it's a good point. You know, when you practice more, the chance of doing a mistake in the main exam reduces,
Yes, sir.
isn't it? So we practice more and more. Now, what is your say on the test series that you actually appear? You know, Gaurav, I was asked a question that, sir, I'm starting my preparation doing internship. Now, I have not prepared yet. So should I appear for the CLT or say a grand test right now, or should I wait for the month of say September and then appear for the GCLT? What do you say?
So there will be no one single day, then you will be full ready with the things. And this is not by everyone, that they also want to give the test, but somehow they feel that they will get a low score
Mhm.
and they will get demoralized.
Mhm.
Or by their peer group when they are discussing, we say people don't discuss much about their score or at that with the subject right test or any GTs. But when they do, they will feel like we're not doing the things right. But it is very good now if you're getting a advice or any suggestion from a test result, that whatever you're doing is not getting you the score.
Mhm.
So it is good now whenever you're getting the things at the earliest to improve, you're getting the hints to improve at the earliest.
Mhm.
And one test will not decide anything.
Exactly.
And so you have to just keep upon doing the things. You can start the giving test day after the your prof ends, and you're happy with the result, and the result is out of the prof, and you're just about to start the internship. So just start early, give a test ahead. Just give the one test, you will get it. Okay, what are the questions being asked in a grand test? What they want in the NEET exam, in the mock test. What are to be things read, and the topics that you want to read for a subject, you can just before like TND, going for a TND, you'll have to just go back to the notes again and just read them thoroughly, and don't miss out any point. Highlight those points where you think that you're weak at, and steadily the speed of revising the notes will improve. And just go and give the test and then attend the discussion. And without giving the test and attending the discussion will not मतलब make an impact on your brain. मतलब if you want
Exactly.
to
I think Gaurav,
gain
what you're
out-
trying to say here is, suppose there's a question, new question, and you haven't applied for the question.
Yes, sir.
Then whatever discussion comes up after this, you feel I knew this.
Yes, sir.
But once you don't, you know that you don't know it, you'll pay more attention for
Yes,
it,
sir.
isn't it? Okay.
Because people try to focus more on the mistakes. Even the
Mistakes.
others will try to focus more on the someone other's mistake,
Yeah.
and ourselves also will try to subconsciously will try to focus on the mistakes that we did in
We
the
did in
test
the
on this.
test, exactly.
And also you might not get time to revise that TND thoroughly again.
Mhm.
And if you're doing it for the first time, just do it with your wholeheartedly and just mark out the questions, the selected question, whichever you did wrong. And this will only be achieved if you have attended the test before.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'll not be able to know what question I made wrong and
Mhm.
where I have to look again. And I want to stress ki during the internship, try to settle your duties as possible as to make your ease for the attending of TND. Whatever the TNDs you attend, they will definitely help to improve your score. Definitely, even if you're getting a 2-3 questions correct from a TND, then that's a very big thing that makes a difference during the ranking process. And try to make a attempt that in a mock test when you give, so even if you attempt to improve one question per subject during a mock, then you are improving 19 questions, then 72
Okay.
marks. So in that, steadily you will improve. You will have to give short goals, then you will steadily improve. It's not possible that, or it might be possible that you giving first GT and you're getting a top rank.
Mhm.
It is possible, and it's very likely possible that you're not getting the rank. But if you're not getting the rank or the score, just revise the the GT, the test, and the topics that you made wrong.
Okay. So Gaurav, like suppose you appear for a GT, and you probably have made say 150 mistakes. Let's assume that. So what you do after this 150 question that you actually made wrong, and what you do for this 150 that you actually made correct? What was your approach?
Which I made correct, and they were not tukkas.
Okay.
So they were just subconsciously registered in
Okay.
my brain. Those I made wrong, 150 questions that I
Mhm.
made wrong,
Mhm.
they will have to be stressed upon and they will have to be looked upon again. And
So you read the explanations part there?
I read the explanation part, and if time permitted, so I go back to the topic of the
Mhm.
notes where I could find the question, whether the thing was there in the notes or not,
Mhm.
or was it answerable by the notes which I had, or was it not answerable, or I had to look another source. But I did not spend much of the time to look for many other sources for the wrong answer. I had to then just go with the explanation with the time constraints I had. So
Okay. Gaurav, because you're a fresher, I think many freshers would be watching us. What is your say on an approach to a prof exam versus that same subject for a PGME? Do you feel it's entirely different, or it's a, what do you say?
So it's a continuum process.
Cutting process.
It is not advisable to do the things right from the first year.
Mhm.
First year is to just settle you down, and
Exactly.
it's a transition period. And it is a very good year to make your concepts in physiology if you can. Because anatomy and biochemistry, you will do well in the prof if you will read in the first year.
Mhm.
But it's very likely that you will forget, or it's very volatile, and you will just recall only the highlighted topics in the final year of the internship. So anatomy and the biochemistry can be dealt later in the internship,
Mhm.
or whenever you feel like anatomy can be clubbed during your surgery in some subject, like said in the you can
Like
read
talking
from
about
the
a
breast
thyroid or
topics,
breast or
thyroid,
thyroid, yeah, हाँ.
yeah, and abdominal surgery, मतलब
Mhm.
whatever you can do, or OBG में pelvis वाला part cover
Okay.
हो जाता है. So
Mhm.
तो anatomy biochemistry can be dealt later, but like in first year में physiology concepts, they can be made well good enough because they will help you in the pharma, in the path and the medicine. And during the second year, it's good to start मतलब there itself and just focus more on the prof pattern also. Then if you're reading the pathology Robbins, there's nothing मतलब better than this. Robbins is the best book I have seen or read, and I'm very proud of that ki I had followed Robbins. And also in this in our college, everybody used to read the Robbins.
I very well know this. All students of Delhi, they actually religiously follow Robbins.
Yes, sir.
And one senior that one advice that everyone gets is read Robbins cover to cover.
Yes, sir.
But
Definitely.
what I say is, how many of them are able to read this cover to cover? So again comes the important point. You know the important point that you should read, and then start reading it better and better. As
Yes, sir.
Gaurav said,
Yes, sir.
you should apply that what should know in that full topic.
Yes, sir.
and then you should read it again and again, because one time reading will not fetch you anything.
Yes, sir. There will be many things that are not in your notes, but it is written in Robbins, which you overlook when you read it first time or second time. And whenever you read it, even our professor used to say, whenever you will read Robbins again and again, you will find one new thing
One
at
new
least
thing,
that you
exactly.
had overlooked upon. So Robbins is one good book that you have to read during the second year. And in pharma, you can read any of the books, right? Well, you have to memorize the classification of the drugs. That is the best thing. And go make some good notes of the pharma so that you can revise the basic notes, and you can add on the updates, because there is no end for the updates in pharma, and those updates can be asked or not. And so the most the, matlab, updates there are in the pharma, and you get an
Many new
idea
drugs
that,
come up, exactly.
yes, sir,
Yes.
and you get a likelihood idea that this drug can be asked. On FDA approves so many drugs, but they will not be asked again and again. Matlab, they will not be asked
There's
in
no end
every
to
exam.
that. There's no
sir.
end to that.
So just do the basic thing in that. And even the pharma, when we give a one-liner question, so it can be easily dealt with. But if you will have the understanding of the basic thing, then only you will be able to answer those questions which give the statements, and you will have to choose the correct except. And all those questions then can only be solved if you have a good sound knowledge of the
Exactly.
pharmacokinetics or dynamics of a group of the drugs, not the specific drug. You will recall everything, but on the classification wise, if the things are segregated, so things will get
Well,
easier.
this year the part C of the paper had a lot of questions which is all true except, isn't
Yes,
it?
sir. Many of these long statement questions, which are they were very
You're actually able to
distressing.
solve when you know the entire topic in a holistic
Yes, sir.
manner.
Yes, sir. They test many aspects of that topic in
Mhm.
one. The one-liner, simple one-liner gets easier, but when there's correct except or incorrect except, you have
That
to
becomes a
look
difficult.
very carefully on the statements. And
What about PSM? How did you approach the PSM, the new program that actually come up?
yes, sir. I had did the foundation notes of the
Mhm.
PSM, but I had read it once because I knew there were many things which were redundant now because of the updates. So I knew, but the basic epidemiology and the biostats and the vaccine part,
Okay.
that would remain. The basic part will remain the same. The program update will be added, and those environment things, that all are same. That is just one things, one page things, that environment and the instruments. And later on the updates, they can be looked upon from any source. You can get from PDF or I didn't look on the websites. Matlab, people used to say you can look on the website,
Websites and all, huh?
but
But do you really feel that these updates are asked a lot in PSM?
uh,
Or is more of a hype that has been created?
sir, only this is a hype mainly, sir,
Uh-huh.
because I didn't see any new program update question this year. Even in AIMS, there were no question on program updates and as such. If you're reading it, you can just read it 1 week before your exam,
Exactly.
the program update, because there's no way of recalling the things that you read program updates back, and the data you can read 1 or 2 days before.
Exactly.
That is volatile. You will lose it again.
Lose it again and again.
Yes, sir. So there's no time to waste on the volatile things, way before the exam. Just when you're nearing the exam, you can read the biochemistry, anatomy, PSM updates, and psychiatry, because it is it's all game of words in it. Psychiatry, because there are small symptoms in there.
Symptoms, yeah. You need to pick
uh,
up the words and the
and
questions.
They have to be
Exactly.
interpreted well to answer the
Uh-huh.
question. This time, psychiatry was easy, but it might not be easy because it is very surprising subject. And skin is easier if you do it nicely during prof. And whatever you read in the MBBS prof, it will definitely help you. And just try to consolidate whatever you have, and don't do multiple tasks, multiple things internship. Just consolidate or just focus on one thing and revise it again and again.
Okay. So probably what I get to know is that you read the third year subjects in the third year,
Yes, sir.
and the final year subjects also in the third year.
Yes, sir.
Then you also read the final year subjects in the final year.
Yes, sir.
And when you came to internship, you read the entire first and second year subjects.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you also were a student of the GCLT, that is Champions
Yes, sir.
Life Series. What was rank there?
So I got around 150, 60
150.
around.
Okay. Now he is a good example. You know, he got rank 150 in the main GT, and he actually managed to get 165 rank in the NEET 19. So which I will say that how much it correlates the whole
Yes,
thing.
sir.
So you know, friends, you need to appear for a test. You need to prepare yourself well. You need to again update yourself, but not a lot of update is required, because the basics what you can actually give a rank.
Yes, sir.
It's a good example. Now, what do you say about you were actually a student of also the quizzes that actually were in the MAMC?
Yes, sir. We.
So how did it help you, the quiz?
Sir, because of the quizzes, we used to look back again at the basic subjects,
Basic
because
subjects.
pathology will help you through the
Mhm.
quizzes. Most helpful
Mhm.
be from the pathology in the medicine,
Mhm.
and pharma some bit.
Okay.
But pathology is the one subject which I used to feel ki used to help in the quizzes.
Quizzes, okay.
So I was able to read again the physiology, the pathology part or the physiology part. So quizzes will definitely help. Also, it will just remove the fear of performing in an exam or
Exam,
anything.
yeah. Okay. So the more you practice, the more you get your heartbeat lower down during the main exam.
Yes,
The
sir.
practice makes you perfect. So any faculty would like to mention in the DBMCA family?
Sir, I first met at the DBMCI, Dr. Bhatia sir, in the
Okay.
on the first faculty which I met at the institute, and he used to motivate and used to tell that you will get a rank, whatever you just tell me what rank, what seat you want, what branch you want, just tell me and you will get it. Just follow the things religiously and just revise, read. And used to say that whenever you are eating or doing, or when there is idle time,
Mhm.
so try to channelize that time by discussing with your friends
Okay.
the things, whatever you can revise in that
Okay.
period. So it was good. And Rajat sir's class at the TND radiology, it was excellent. It was excessively good, and there is no comparison of any other class with that. And sir's dedication to the class, he used to stretch the class later on till 10:30, 11 o'clock ऐसे कुछ. But that is fruitful because sir motivates you. The
Yeah.
things he taught, he teaches. So they also come in exam, and also the most important thing is the dedication and the motivation that he gives. So that helps. And most important is all during the entire TND courses, you're being taught academically, but
Okay.
also mentally you're being motivated that you have to improve. And pharma TND was very good. Anatomy TND,
Dr. Saurabh
Ashwini
Bhatia,
sir,
Dr. Ashwini sir, yeah.
Ashwini sir,
Mhm.
he was very good. His the notes he provided,
Mhm.
and he used to make us mark the diagrams in that.
Mhm.
So it was very handy thing to revise the whole embryology, head and neck anatomy. So it was very good. And I used to follow sir's Dr. Praveen's concept review of pathology book. So the images there, I had a notion that I have to see the images, whether I'm able to read the text or not, but I will see the tables and the images of the books. So sir's book had very good tables and the images, and the list that used to help. I didn't have to look for
annexures and all, yeah.
the things which have to be mucked up, so I
Mhm.
didn't have to look those things. So that was concise in that book, and so it's what very good. I hope I could attend many of the other TNDs which I couldn't. And surgery TND was very good. Jesser's protocols and the flowchart that he gives,
Mhm.
they are very good. They help you to solve the MCQs also,
Okay.
because now the MCQs are like you don't have to answer like treatment of choices this
Mhm.
or whatever the investigation. Now they will give you a scenario,
Mhm.
then they will ask you what is the next step,
Next step,
and the
exactly.
next step you will just only get if you know the whole flowchart, how to go about it. So the whole flowchart should be thoroughly known, and these flowcharts are basically for the regular cases that comes to the hospital OPDs. So and these things are being asked in the NEET examination and even in AIMS. The pattern of the exam, I could see, could relate some of the questions of the NEET, like they were like AIMS based.
Mhm.
The choices were very close, and the clinical based and the flowchart algorithm based question were also there in the NEET. And but most of the questions were one liners again, factual based. There were many questions about it, so those can be dealt with the notes and the TNDs that you could do. And 70 to 80% you can do with your notes plus TND.
Mhm.
Rest 20% is your educated guesses, or you can leave if you don't know anything about those topics. So
How many questions did you attempt in the main NEET exam?
So I attempted 289 questions and
Okay.
left those 11 questions which I had no idea.
No idea. Okay.
And even if I had idea, I thought ki I should mark this.
Mhm.
Later I found that that option was correct, but it was of risk that
Risk
at that point.
yes.
Ki,
Okay.
and just attempt the question. If possible, try to attend 300. I would say.
Well, only if you know that you can attempt 300 questions, but you should have some idea out of that question,
Yes, sir.
isn't it? Okay, so leaving
You can
11
leave
is
those questions which have numbers in the option, because
okay.
it is very dangerous to attempt those questions which have numbers, because
Mhm.
if you're not sure of any numbers, you can't
You can just randomly
guess it.
Exactly.
Yes,
Good
sir.
point. Now, Dr. Gaurav, will you like to suggest some messages to your juniors, number one, and your colleagues who are not may have not got a very good rank and still waiting for the next PGME?
So the very first, we have been listening to everything. I had also been listening to the interviews of many of the previous toppers, and so the thing is, start early. And start early means start from the second prof. Okay? And you have to just go with the whatever topics being taught in your college, and you can get an idea about the things being done in the entrances exam and the topics being asked by joining in coaching. Coaching institute you can join. If not doing the classroom course, you can have a app based learning also. Like, you don't want to go to the, because if you feel that you don't have time to go for the classes if you're far away or anything, so you can do the test. MCQ practice can be started, but like, you don't have to focus more on the MCQs during your second year, third year, or final year. They can be easily done in the internship. Internship keep your posting time those free for the MCQs. Second year, third year, and final year, just do the whatever books you are reading, and just follow. Make good set of notes, and just follow the notes, supplement the notes, and consolidate whatever you can. It's a good idea to consolidate itself in the final year, so that you don't have to consolidate in internship. Just attend TND in internship and do the things. And for the interns, currently they can just go through the notes and attend TNDs as much as possible, because every TND will help you somewhere. And just read, follow everything that is being told at the DBMCI. They will tell you the topics to be read. They used to give us the PDF of the high yield topics to be read, and those are really rewarding, because time is constrained in the internship. So you know the things, but you have to recall them. So you have to again go back at those topics which are being really high yielding,
Okay.
and they will give you some marks, well, some questions. So just go through those topics, and read everything else also, but just focus more on those topics. And just read throughout the internship and give test as much possible. From day one of internship you can start giving the test, because you will at least solve some question. Even if you're getting 50 correct to 50 wrong, no worries, because you will not get those to 50 wrong again somewhere in the other exam. So it's a good idea to do some subject wise tests and GTs in a mix up pattern, so it is good. And while giving GTs, you will have revision of your other topics also, because if you're even looking at 2 topics per subject, you're looking 38 topics apart from whatever you're reading for the week. So those 38 topics per week, whatever you're reading, so those are very high yielding. So do that, and just keep on
Do you have
revising.
friends, what will you say, like those who might not have got a very good rank and still are preparing? Any message to them?
Uh, if they are in within the 1000 rank, I would say ki everyone has potential. They can improve, and even so, they can be just following. The content is good. If they're getting within 1000, the content is good. So they have to
Okay.
just revise it again and again, and try to be more MCQ oriented now, because it's just MCQ time now, because you have to solve 300 questions in 210 minutes in NEET, and so you have to be very speedy at solving the MCQs. Try to complete GT's 300 questions in 1.5 hour or 1 hour or so. Okay, this will improve your speed. And try to be more MCQ specific. Your content is good if you're getting 1000, below 1000. You have to just revise it again and again. And for those more than 1000, everyone wants to give NEET or any entrance exam to get the seat of their choice, the branch of the choice. They don't want to just get a rank. So for that, you will have to improvise your content, maybe by attending the TND, so that the high yield topics which are lacking, they can be supplemented. And then just revise again and again. Whatever you have been reading till now has not gone to the waste. So it has added somewhere to your preparation. And so you have to just reach one threshold point from which you will start to improve that. And I would say ki initially the activation energy in any reaction is very high. So once you reach the threshold, you are already below threshold somewhere. Your preparation till now have been matlab, somewhere have filled up the gaps. Now the gaps have to be filled up again. Whatever gaps you analyze, sit down, just see in every subject where are you lacking. 19 subjects are there. You can easily analyze 19 sheets and just mark those things that you have to do per subject, and just follow that and do the MCQs again and again.
Well, thanks, Dr. Gaurav. I think
you,
you
sir.
have been very elaborate and very generous with what you actually felt. I wish you all the best
Thank you, sir.
and wish you a big congratulations.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.